pull over and put this roof back on. Now that I learned that the audio is absolute trash if I don't do that. Alright, what is up guys? Welcome back to the Omega Greed YouTube channel, where we do a whole bunch of fun things with cars and we learn how to work with all the cars together. If you're new to my channel, my name is Jeffrey, and we do videos on the 2017 Dodge Challenger RT, Hyundai Veloster, and lifted Jeep Grand Cherokee, and this 2001 NB Miata. And this is exactly what we're going to be doing today. In this video, we're going to be talking about why in the world would someone want a Miata? Which right there, that's the reason why you want a Miata. Just because, look at that, I was able to wring that thing completely out. I got up to just above the speed limit. Speed limit here is like 55. I wasn't going much faster than that. Like, I really can see why people like these things so much. Now, granted, this is the slowest car in the fleet, I would say for sure. Performance cars, this is definitely like the slowest, you know, between the Miata, between the Challenger and between the Veloster N. But this has such a different driving dynamics. This is so fun to drive. The one thing that I think it's really hard to get across, this really feels just like a go-kart. And what I mean by this feels like a go-kart is this quite literally feels like a go-kart. And now I really do get why like a lot of people really like these Miatas and why people want to autocross these and track these, because they're just a ton of fun to drive. And the one thing I will say though, the manual transmission in here, which actually I'm going to be filming a video talking about the manual transmission inside the Veloster N versus, you know, this, and like what's a better like platform to learn on. I will say my one thing is though, I feel like this manual transmission, it is so short. All the gear throws are so short that yeah, you know, I will say it was a little bit tricky for me just at first to get used to the patterns, because everything was just so short and so small. But now that I'm used to it, it's a lot better. And plus I did the shifter bushing rebuild kit, and that helped out a lot. Like when I first got in it, first gear was so vague, second gear was like vague as well, but doing the shifter bushing, that made it completely different now. It completely transformed the way that the car feels and the way the car performs. But so if you guys don't know, so this is a 2001 NB Miata. I bought this thing like a couple weeks ago. It's the new project channel. It's the car on the channel, which I want to be turning this into the much more autocross focused and track focused car. My eventual plans for this vehicle is going to be just essentially just turn it into a track vehicle. And this is what I want to be, the track vehicle. Pretty much what a lot of people do to these things. There's a lot of spec you know, NB Miata like track days and like track events. So I think that'll be pretty cool. And actually, the person that I bought this vehicle from, he actually races his other Miatas. He actually sold this Miata to buy a full roll cage for his other one. So, you know, that's pretty cool. So I think it's pretty cool to keep this thing, you know, keep the heritage of it. But as far as driving this and as far as owning the Miata, I can really see, like, I you know, online you see people, they always post like Miata's always the answer for everything. And I can kind of see why. Like, for not that much money, you can get this is a rear-wheel drive front engine sports car with a manual transmission. It's a convertible and a two-door and like a two-seater. That's pretty much like all you really need to have some fun. It's not the fastest thing in the world, but it's quick enough, and you're so low to the ground, you feel like you're flying. Like, you feel like you're flying. And this thing, if I'm doing 65, it feels like I'm going, 70. Inside the Challenger, not really. Like, it's not really all that fun unless you're pushing it hard. The Veloster N, I will say, is funner than the Challenger just because that's manual. And I don't know, just the driving dynamics of that's still a little bit funner just to drive on a day-to-day basis. But I honestly feel like this car is so much more fun than both of them. I think because we're just so low to the ground, and it really feels like a go-kart that you're driving on the road. Like, this doesn't feel like legal, like you shouldn't be able to do this, but it's really cool that you can. The one thing though I will mention though is I am 6'2.5", and I'm surprised I can fit in this thing. I thought I wasn't going to be able to, but I can fit in here pretty, decently. As we're going to speed up slightly. I still can't go super fast. There's like a ton of people around, so, but going a little bit faster now. Look, this thing just sticks it just sticks. That's so cool. I mean, in my preferred driving method or my preferred driving layout is I like rear wheel drive. I like rear wheel drive. Front wheel drive is cool as well, but rear wheel drive is where it's at for me. Like, I even prefer rear wheel drive inside the snow. Even like right now, as I'm just waiting at this light, like, the one bad thing is though, since I am so tall, I kind of have to like look underneath the pillar up here to see the light. It's like when the roof is off, I can look over, but when the roof is on, I have to kind of like duck underneath it to kind of see the light actually up in front of me. But it's not that bad. I'm fairly tall, like I said, but I can make it work. My height in this car. Is it the most comfortable thing? Honestly, it's not bad. I thought it was going to be a lot worse, because I know if you're a little bit bigger, this could be a little claustrophobic, but like me and my fiance, we could both sit in here and feel fine. So it's really not that bad. I thought it was going to be a lot worse. Like, when we went to go buy this car and I first saw it, that was my first time actually like sitting inside like an NB Miata. I've sat inside the new NDs and the new the Fiat, was it 124 Spider? I sat in that. I couldn't really fit in that. So I was a little bit nervous when I got in this, but I was pleasantly surprised to figure out like, oh, I can fit in here pretty well. It wasn't that big of a deal at all. So yeah, like, this car is not, you are, if you're wider, I would say it would probably be a little bit harder, but like someone like my build, it's really not that bad at all. Now just getting on it full pull. Speed limit, just a little bit above it. It's like no problem. That's the one fun thing though. You can truly max this car out, like go full, just fully into it, full bore, just go. Do pulls, do pulls, do pulls. This car loves it. You get all your power high up in the RPM range. Now this car has the 5-speed manual transmission. So the way it's geared, like legitimately, you're going to be driving probably like 3,000 to 4,000 RPMs, like you're standing like revs. So yeah, this thing is not, you're definitely not going to be like just tootling around at like a low RPM. Just tootling around, just having some fun. This thing, it feels great. It feels so planted on the ground, and that's the one thing I really can't express enough. And I know a lot of people say that, like, oh yeah, you feel like it just handles so well. Like, this thing has the stock suspension. At least I'm pretty sure it has stock suspension, and this thing feels like it's just planted on the ground. Granted, these are some nicer tires, but this thing just feels like it's really planted on the ground. There's no other way to really put it. I will say, the one good thing is though, since these cars have such low horsepower, doing small modifications, and if it adds like 10 horsepower to it, you're gonna definitely feel it. Now, this car, I don't know what this car is making. I know this thing has a full exhaust on it, It may have gave it 1 horsepower, may have gave it 2, who knows. It really doesn't matter at this point in time. This car has a little bit more, you know, miles on it, so it's not like this thing is the youngest Miata out there. But, you know, it's probably making stock numbers, I would assume. I plan on doing some modifications to it, but I really want to get used to just the power by itself, like just the stock power, really get used to it. And really just, you know, seeing what this thing can do. So that's what I've been doing a lot. Taking it out on roads like this, backcountry roads, really just pushing the car and feeling how it feels and, you know, making it much more predictable. The good thing is, so this car is much more predictable. Inside the Veloster N, you know, you floor it, you're getting torque steer. Not crazy torque steer, but you're getting some torque steer. Inside of the Challenger, granted though, I just got some new 275 tires, which helps it hooks up a lot better now. You know, that still can be unpredictable slightly if you're pushing it really hard. In this, I feel like, you know, for the most part, it's not really much you can really do to kind of like kill yourself. I mean, granted, you can if you know you do anything, you can get yourself in a bad situation. But this car, it feels great to just drive. It really does. Oh, wow! It's a 3rd gear lockout. Wow, that was a bad shift. But hey, see, this is the reason why I drive it hard like this, to try to get used to it, to try to get used to this car. I've only had this car for a couple weeks. I will say, yeah, driving this is a lot harder than driving the Veloster N. The Veloster N is just like, that's a piece of cake. I jumped right in that thing and just was able to drive it like totally fine. This is a much more analog, like old school, like you are doing everything. You are downshifting, you're doing everything for this car. So, you know, it is a little bit harder, and this shifter is so small. The pattern's so small in here, man. Granted, it's not a bad thing, it's just you have to get used to it. If you're not used to something this small, it's going to take you a while. And the pedals, my foot to hit the clutch, it definitely does take a little bit more input for me to like hit the clutch. But, you know, it's not too bad. But yeah, guys, so I think I'm going to end the video here. So let me know, what do you guys think about the Miata? Do you think it's fun? Do you think it's worth buying? Would you buy one? And if you did, what modifications did you do to yours? Because I really want to know what should be the next thing I should do for this thing. I would love to do headers and a quarter intake. Just small little things, but also would like to do a strut bar and suspension as well. But, you know, let me know, guys, what do you guys think is the next logical step I should do for this car? Like I said, the goal is to be a autocross vehicle. Oh yeah, I'm gonna need to get a roll cage, a good one. I've been looking for roll cages, like good ones, because, you know, that's safety. You want to, you know, make sure you do really well when it comes down to safety, because you don't want to kill yourself. But yeah, so let me know, guys, and follow me on Instagram, OmegaGreed, same name as the YouTube channel. Go to the website geekswithcars.com and subscribe for more, and we will see you guys in the next video. See you guys. Such a blast.